Welcome back to the dunes. The dust really never settles here, except this map has grass on it. Of course, it is going to be the shallows. And actually, I wonder if it's grass or if they're actually like little trees and stuff. I don't know. I'm getting carried away. This is from the round of 4. This is match A, and it's going to be Garmilator versus Tren. Why wasn't Tren in the round of 8? Well, anyway, so Garmilator's playing as the Coalition and Tren is playing as the Con-F, which will be pretty fun to watch. Tren, of course, is a very accomplished player. We haven't seen him for a little while. Let me just check that the tech viewer is working. Indeed it is. Yeah, we haven't seen him in the tournament setting for quite a while, and in fact I haven't really seen him do many 1v1s in quite some time now. He's got a really good mind for the game. You know, he's always been kind of the most analytical player. If you've watched his salt piles and salt dumps and stuff that he makes on Twitch, he's just always roasting people for doing stupid things. Very scary to get your game, you know, reviewed by Tren. You're always like, oh dear, what did I do this time? His opponent, of course, is going to be the great and fearful Garmilator. This is really the man to beat right now. He's won the last 2 tournaments, looking to take his 3rd here. So this will be a very fun match. Fun to see what these players have to bring to the table for this match here. He's going to be playing as the Con-F, mind you. Whoa. Whoa, that was lightning. Anyway, he's going to be playing as the Con-F. And they are usually a little bit more safe than the Galzian are in this situation because their base runner can make the blast drone. So essentially they have more than one production facility at the beginning of the game, which is very good. But it's difficult to micro those blast drones to get you know, good hits against these LAVs. So it's always a bit of a tricky dance in the middle. That probe takes quite a lot of damage here, so that's not going to be too happy for Garmilator, but he's going to keep it now. However, this blast drone's this base runner is probably going to start taking some damage by these LAVs. And I'm not totally sure what the idea is of having the base runner out this far, especially because we know the Con-F base runner cannot even re-heal. Garmilator seems a little bit scared of it though. He's pulling his LAVs back a bit. He wants to, as you can see, keep his distance from that base runner because he's worried that like any second now, you know, some blast drone's going to pop out. And indeed, that is the choice for Tren. I'd love to see the smoke wall. Yep, there it is. Look at that. Anyway, the reason of course being that now the base runner can't get shot at, although as you can see it was not the most effective because he was moving at full speed through the smoke wall, so it didn't actually like block him at all. Anyway, here's the blast drone. Is Garmilator on top of it? Of course he is. He's going to be able to shut that down. And it looks like it will be a dead base runner for Tren, which is quite sad for him because he invested 150 CUs into the blast drone. Personally, I wouldn't have done it because it seemed quite unlikely he was ever going to get a very good hit out of it, but that's alright. Tren now making his 2nd production cruiser, already going for assault rail, so this is going to be kind of a classic Tren style assault railgun push. His opposition, of course, is going to be quite a number of LAVs, and they already have their boost pack, and so that's actually going to be quite a tough ask. But we will see how effective Tren is at carrying it out. Railgun armor coming out already. There's one thing again, like I always say, that you'll notice about these top players, is that the second that they get railguns, railgun armor. The second they get, I don't know, AAVs, like heavy vehicles armor is coming out, you know what I mean? These 2 salvagers just kind of getting sacked here, and this assault railgun gets a bit too close. They're going to chew him up a little bit here. Back to the safety of the carrier, but one assault railgun does go down. And Garmilator now with these incredible AAVs just holding his opponent right back in the middle of his base there. Now there's 2 assault rails out on the field with more being produced. That should be enough to scare away this little pack of LAVs, but certainly, there you go. Garmilator has got something prepared for this. He's researching railgun fabrication. He's going to be able to build those pretty quickly. And he seems very comfortable with railguns and LAVs, doesn't he? That's one we've seen him do basically every game, that he hasn't like kind of been forced into another tech tree. Probe gets taken down, that's good. Because it's always good to know where your opponent is, therefore it's always good to stop your opponent from knowing where you are, right? and Garmilator beginning to produce railguns, but there will be a significant force already out on the field at that time. Still, though, the value of assault railguns is really in the fact that they do high damage, so they're counter to armored units, and they do, and like they have good accuracy against small units, so they're a counter to light attack vehicles. And if you think in the late game that you're probably going to want to be making railguns anyway, because that's normally the case. You know, ordinarily, like in the late game, you will be making railguns. The idea here is, well, I can make railguns anyway, because these are railguns, but I can also avoid having to make armored vehicles or sand skimmers to counter these LAVs. So it's an interesting idea. The only problem is that they fail quite heavily against railguns when they're at a range, which we're going to see here. The sand skimmers are going to poke out, and I rather think Tren ought to see, oh look, railguns, and just like not even go in there at all. And he will, but after losing an assault railgun there. So yeah, they don't counter railguns at all. And carriers, they can't do any damage to them. So they're not going to be like game-ending types of things. And now these LAVs here are getting a bit hungry, but I doubt they're going to be able to push into here. I've seen Tren do serious work on people from this position right here. But these railguns doing a great job of damaging this force. Pretty much every volley from these railguns has killed an assault railgun, and they're getting veterancy too, because of course, for some reason, assault railguns give you tons of veterancy when you kill them. No one knows why. It just is. This assault railgun quite weak. Probably gonna go down. Oh, it just narrowly escapes. But this is looking like it's gonna be the end of Tren's force. And that's a big deal too, because having two production cruisers out in the opening is potentially very damaging, but it's also kind of an all-in strategy, if you will. If this force gets destroyed, I mean, I say that as it's getting blown up, so you know the answer to that question. These two production cruisers are in some serious trouble. And this could very quickly snowball out of control, especially as this carrier is starting to move forward out into the open as well. Actually, he's going to move back with it, but I was thinking like it was going to cut off the retreat, which it could have done. But it's almost certain that both of these production cruisers is going to go down. And that's pretty much cause for GG, because already railguns are out on the field. Those are game-ending types of things. Look how much veterancy this one has, by the way. Victor, you slayer! Excuse me. Wow. A lot of veterancy on that one. Anyway, so yeah, because there's already railguns out on the field and a massive amount of LAVs, and Tren cannot produce any military units, that's pretty much the end. I mean, like, it's pretty much objective at this point. Garmilator just has to be like, F2, click, and that'll basically, like, finish off his opponent. So, impressive hold by Garmilator. It was quite simple in the end, but of course that kind of stuff takes a lot of skill. But he knew, alright, assault railguns are coming out on the field. Perfect counter to this is railguns. And he executed quite well over here. Especially he had like the perfect number of railguns to deal with that. You know, it's 4 railguns and then every single volley will kill off an assault railgun. And when you can get picks like that, it really thins out the opponent's army and makes them kind of susceptible. Yeah, and there's going to be the GG from Tren. So can Tren slay the beast? At current, it seems the answer is no. However, he has another chance to show us what he's got in the elimination bracket, but we'll move on to there later.